All right, Gary. Now, for anyone that doesn't know Ben, anyone that does know him will vouch that he's kind as a heart of gold, but is also very complex and often very demanding sort of character. Has the fact that you have grown with the business with him enabled you to actually, as you talked about in the previous part, have a proper row if you disagree with something, say what you actually think? Has that made your job a lot easier than somebody who was promoted from outside the firm and is suddenly in the position that you are in with him? Is that how it's worked? Made it work?
I think so. I think you have to earn the right to be a little bit more brutal with your honesty, and you know, I think he's a big character, and some people would struggle to voice their opinion in that manner. And I think that I've earned that right. So yeah, it does help immensely. So I do feel for people that, you know, at senior level that come in and have to try and work out how the whole thing works. But I think that's been partially my job in that sense. And I think, you know, that whole, you know, what we're doing is that, you know, the transition into a bigger business means that we've got people in place that are going to be the future of the business, and we're going to start them from a fairly young age. We've got a group of people coming through in their 20s who are going to be used to the ethos and the culture, and will understand how we work while still growing and having a bit more of the corporate edge around it. And I think that will help them in their relationships with him, you know, in the fact that they would have grown through their career at the same time. But somebody coming in, you know, to a very senior position would have their work cut out initially, definitely, yeah.
Because this sort of, on that same point, I mean, Ben thinks about stuff, it seems like 24/7,
yeah.
and you think nothing of texting you at midnight if he's had an idea. How have you managed to cope with sort of bringing him down, and does he need bringing down? Because obviously he's started this business. How do you know when this is time to calm him down and when this is time to actually say, go for it, you know?
Yeah. Just experience, really. I think, you know, sometimes you press the accelerator and sometimes you're on the brake. But I think it's a learning curve, and it's taken a long time to get to there. But, you know, I think that the other thing is it's how you present. So you can speak the truth, but how you deliver that truth is really important. And I think that I've learned how to understand when something really is important and it really needs doing, that not to particularly stand in the way of that and let it play out, but let it play out under the right parameters, and when to actually just cut something off at the root, you know.
Now, I'm also told that you're a good judge of character, and I imagine when Star Sports was flying by the seat of its pants back in the early days, back in that flat, you were probably in some extremely difficult spots with Ben and whoever was with you at the time. You know, when you're doing business with somebody, what sort of characteristics are you looking for?
Yeah, this is crucial. I think that we've built over time by really engendering relationships. You know, everybody within the business, it's a family business still, really, even though it's grown to, you know, 300 people, I'm guessing. I think that it's so important that two things really. Firstly, if you don't necessarily agree with someone, you've got to respect them in the way that they behave. You've got to have respect for them as a person, as a business person, and that's important to us. And but nearly always, secondly, we really enjoy their company and really actually want to do the right thing by them. This is a big thing for Benjamin. He desperately wants to do the right thing for the individual, almost above and beyond the right thing for himself and Star, so that in the end, in the journey, I mean, you might go away from him and come back to him later, but you've had that grounding and that you're in good stead for when something might come back to us in due course. So that's the long game in that sense. You know, relationships are the long game.
Now, it's in two perspectives. Did you ever think there were times when Star wouldn't get through bad runs in the past?
Oh God, yeah. But I think that's probably refer back to my previous answer of the fear factor. I always, always felt like it was we were on the edge of the precipice. And I think the other thing with Benjamin is he works the money. So there's never a spare centime to go around, as Callum, our FD, will attest to.
And did you ever think that you two personally wouldn't get through a bad situation? If you've had a real bad falling out, is there ever a point where you thought, well, this might have to come to an end now?
No, I haven't actually. No, I don't think it's ever got to that. But again, see, one of the previous answers that I gave is it's almost like there's too much going on to even think about that and contemplate, because you're on to the next thing. If some mini disasters happened over here, there's 3 other things going on over here that detracts away from that and move you on to the next plan. So you never have time to you don't have time to get off the merry-go-round and actually analyse things on that level, on that granular level. And
have there ever been times when you're thinking maybe Ben's on the edge, the pressure's getting to him, you have to sit down and talk him through this difficult? Is that ever?
There's been 1 or 2 occasions where, there's been a bit of a time where we've had some real good conversations in and around, the future, his future, and whether you can still go at that pace. And I think that, he hates work-life balance as a phrase, but he's actually worked it out. Things like the phone will go off for an hour and we'll have a chat, or he might have a holiday that's he actually does have a rest and drinks a Fanta lemon and calms himself down a bit.
Now, Star have cultivated a reputation for being big layers and taking big bets. When you've got a big player that bets in massive sums and they're going a good run, how many times have you been one huge bet away from game over?
Well, obviously we are a regulated company that acts responsibly when it comes to the finances of the business. So
but I'm talking about on the up.
Well, we have been regulated since 2005, I believe. So it is the case that the thing is you have to embrace that because it is your USP. So don't forget the big wins are a marketing tool. So it's like, all right, it's a loss in the bank, but it might be a potential long-term profit to the business. I think that we have to think like that. We have to think that, and the other thing is, obviously we don't hedge, so that because that plays with your mind. So we stand everything, and it is. I just want to say now categorically that every bet that you hear that's laid is definitely laid. I don't profess to say that there's anything other than the truth in that. And the other thing that I like to say is, no, we're not owned by Tony Bloom. And hopefully one day we'll wake up and we are owned by Tony Bloom, because it wouldn't be a bad thing, would it?
Now, I think you've already answered this, but you said you liked the fear. Did you say you liked the fear, or was it you just driven by fear? Do you enjoy that sort of pressure? Are you a bit of a masochist? Is the not being able to sleep at night because you're worried about what's going to happen tomorrow a driving force? I think there's a level of addiction to it. Yeah. Otherwise, why would you look at the records as they come through and watch the end of a football match where the next goal will cost you £500,000? I don't see the upside to that. Why would you do that? You must like it. It's a bit like stubbing a cigarette out in your hand, but you do it. But from the early days when I'd be on my own in the trading room because somebody's gone to the toilet and I have to answer the phone and I don't know what I'm doing, and it's a grand each way, a 33 shot that goes off 8 and you've laid it. Didn't really enjoy that very much, but luckily we've got Dave Jolly, head of trading, so I can let him have those responsibilities and sleepless nights on my behalf a bit more. And when you're away from the coalface, you don't feel that pressure quite the same, Okay, so now we find you sort of sat here in Ben's office. You're financially comfortable. You're on the verge of retirement. It might sound a daft question, but is there anything that you regret or that you would have done differently on the way to where you are now?
I don't think you can have regrets, really. I think you have to. The hard times are what frames you, you know. So you really got to embrace them, you know. And I think that again, the company ethos and Ben's ethos is that you want to do the best by other people. So hopefully on our road, there's not been many occasions where somebody will have dealt with us and it be a particularly bad experience. I hope, obviously, it happens on occasion, but that's life, isn't it? You can't please everyone all the time. But I think that I don't have many regrets. And I think that the business is in really, really strong shape. You know, so I think that we've done something right, shall we say?
And how? This is. It can be difficult for you to answer, but how do you see Ben as a person and as a bookmaker? And what do you predict for the future of Star Sports now you're not in it?
Well, he's a good friend, and he's a gargantuan of a bookmaker. And I think that, you know, he's at the start of his journey. And in many respects, I think that internationally we're gonna grow. I think there could be focus. The UK's only one place in the world, so I think we've got opportunities elsewhere. I think that he still has a lot to do, and you know, I think that the business itself is in really safe hands. We've got an excellent chairman who's just come on board, Russ, and the other Russ has done a great job at the top of the tree. And we basically evolved from a telebet bookmaker to a proper online bookmaker now, with proper technology and a structure that's capable of scale. So yeah, it's in good shape.
Now, the game's been good to you.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that wanted to get in it from both sides of the fence? You've had dealings with some of the cleverest punters in the country, and also you were part of one of the most successful bookmakers. So what would your advice be?
Okay, I'd probably say, firstly, don't isolate yourself. I think working from home is mental and you know, career disaster. Really, I don't get it, and I certainly, if you possibly can, don't do that. Be around people, be around other people. It's very important. I think that secondly, you really want to try and, if you can, and the money allows, work for a smaller business, really understand what an end-to-end business looks like. So you get ingrained not just in one department, or, you know, you only see one part of a business, or you see the whole thing. You know, even the boring stuff, you know, the compliance and the accounts and the, you know, the tax returns and all that sort of stuff, and how the back office function works, how it works from, you know, point of view, if you're with a small on-course firm or you're a small group of shops or whatever, you can really see what it is to be in business. I think that's really important. And I think then when you have found what you want to do, commit 100% and really go for it. Don't be, you know, see it right through, even if it means going off a cliff with it. I think it's probably worth that experience. And
2 questions left. Why did you decide to turn it in now? You're a relatively young man.
I'm 55 in 2 weeks. I think that I'd like to enjoy my proceeds now, healthy. I'd like to actually go out there and actually enjoy myself. It's been a journey, I think that there'll be another episode for me after that as well.
Oh, you've preempted my last question.
Oh, I
was going to say you've been in the thick of a firm that has lived by the seat of its pants for the best part of 2 decades. You can't just like go and lie on the beach, surely.
I am now, but maybe ask me that question in a year.
And one final question I've just thought of: have you told Ben to delete your number from his phone for anything business related?
We're in negotiations.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure, Gary Woodgate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Simon.